Alright, this is a weekly reading for Leo. I will do the channeled messages first. There's only 2 of them. So, there's a new family legacy and finding your calling in life. So, this could have been kind of like a job switch, or it could have been like you worked on something that you're kind of like, I like doing this. I might as well make it into a side business or make it into a full-time business. So you're, in a different mind frame this week. So let's see. Let's get into the reading with the first card, which is going to be you right now, which is a star. The star is hope, faith, inspiration, and optimism of wishes, a bright future, learning from experience, fulfillment, satisfaction, and pleasure, moving easily towards a goal, astrology. So you might actually be good at astrology. So depending on where Jupiter and Mars are, stuff could go down. But right now, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto are in retrograde. So anything that you believe that you're going to gain this week, it's not going to happen. So you're going to have to wait until the crescent moon, which is, I think, on the 9th or the 10th, when Jupiter finally sets itself right and is not in retrograde anymore. But, it's anybody's guess. But anyway, so we have the week's theme, which is, the cats are knocking things over. Alright, so the 10 of Cups is the week's theme today. So, hope, great expectations that are to be delivered, new approaches, new friends, new access to knowledge or dreams. So you might have new knowledge. Believe you me, astrology is hard. There's a lot of maths. But anyway, so you might have like a different thing, or you might want to do something different, or you might want to do some tarot reading or astrology. Astrology is translated between different people very differently from what you're used to. So it's, so you might hear from one person, that's how you read it. You listen to somebody else, and it's entirely different. So, you kind of have to make your own style on how you see things. But you can't be wrong, because people get really suspicious early. It's not even harvest season while you're talking about Gemini rising and stuff like that. But, there's a lot of stuff to hash out as far as that's concerned. So if you're going into astrology, go in there like it's a science, but it's also about math. And if you don't know math and you don't know science, then there could be a problem. Alright? Because you have to know that the constellations mean different things. If there's a planet in a constellation, depending on what the planet stands for, whether it's Saturn Truth, or it's Jupiter Expansion, or it's Venus, which is love, hearts, putting love into your scenario. It depends on what position they're in. Okay, it's not going to hit everybody the same way. Sometimes it means the March Aries, and sometimes it means April Aries, sometimes it means this and that, and there's 2 different positions for each planet. So if it's at the head of the table, that's going to be the end of a constellation. If it's at the front, it's usually the beginning, and it's usually in the partial of another month. The beginning is going to be at the middle of another month. I don't know, that weird explanation. But yeah, it's it's difficult to explain it to somebody. You have to show them on a chart and stuff, and actually make sure that they get it. Because if they get it wrong, then there's a problem. And then if stuff like that. I've been doing this stuff until I was like, what, 9, 10 years old, because my grandfather was big into stars and constellations and movements and seasons and stuff. So I picked that up from him. He was my father figure, so I kind of got that. But anyway, we have number 3. Number 3 is the challenge of the week, which is the Chariot. So your career could be a bit of a challenge. So, body and soul pushing towards a common goal, possibly too much speed towards a goal without actual ending in sight. Urgency, turmoil, revenge, inability to focus on minor details that contribute to the big picture. So, you might be lacking vision at the moment. Jupiter's in retrograde, you might not be 100% sure what to do. Usually Jupiter has to deal with expansion, and that's usually for Leos. It's the planet ruled for Leos. If it's in your constellation and that's your ruling planet, then a lot of things are possible. But if it's in retrograde, it's very different from when it's in forward gain or finishing grade. So, usually finishing grade has to do with December, so it finishes off the cycle as far as the year is concerned. But yeah, if it's in retrograde, it's like it really sucks, because everything that you wanted to gain or get a promotion for, it could be delayed by a week or a month or something, and it becomes a problem for people that are like me and want to gain ground and work or get recognition for something at work. So, it's one of those things we have to wait for the crescent moon. But yeah, we have number 4 with lesson to remember, something from your past. We have judgment. So judgment is confessing all sins. Let's see. Accounting for deeds and thoughts, new life, possibly a betterment of oneself, reward the spiritual self, warning of someone's unfair advantage, outcome of a conflict, consideration of actions. So this is something from the past. This might have been something you did wrong and that you were called out for. But, if you're like me, I don't apologize. I just learned my lesson and then I don't do it again. I can't apologize to somebody with any moment of sincerity, because, it's funny to me. Like, people get so offended over, like, shit that doesn't make sense. Like, you know what I mean? You want me to apologize for something I didn't do to you. I did it to somebody else. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You fucking conceited cunts. But again, if you did something to somebody, you should apologize. But with the deepest sincerity. Don't say it to their face. Do it through actions. And be sorry through actions. Because fire signs and water signs can't keep a straight face when they're trying to apologize to somebody. It's not in our DNA. It's honestly not, because water signs, they don't want to be in the situation, and fire signs, they have no moment of sincerity where it's like, oh, I'm sorry, but it's like, water signs and fire signs are better with actions, or they're better with gifts. So that's all I'm going to say, because I've been around both a long time. Air sign and earth signs are better at apologizing to people. Water signs and fire signs, kind of flimsy. So, bad actors and all that. But, yeah, usually earth signs and air signs are better at apologizing. Especially if they're in, like, a rising. But, yeah, fire signs and water signs, no way. No way. So, number 5 is lesson that you will learn. We have the sun. It's usually a Leo energy as well. So, we have satisfaction, accomplishment, success, love, and friendship. Reveling in the pleasures of life, freedom from boredom, happiness, new or old friends, warmth, truth, and artistic achievement. So you might be doing some artsy. Maybe you're a artist, or maybe you kind of have a degree of whimsy about you with, most things. But yeah. I always imagine like Leos being like the fashion forward ones. So like they're always wearing something like either flashy or like really nice. So I imagine that that's like the artistry that you're going for. But you can also be like a visual artist or like a very like controversial artist. But whatever it is, it's catching people's eye for sure. So we're going to go with that. And then we have number 6, which is a gift you give yourself, which is the Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles is home and hearth, prosperity, riches, and security, safety, and a long family history, and inheritance. So you might be getting your inheritance this week, or you might be getting something that is kind of like a windfall, maybe a lottery win. If you see Jupiter in your constellation, and it happens to be, let's see, I think July is when it's on, I think it's on the main of the constellation. It has to be either the ear or the paw. With, I think the August ones, it's either on the eye or the top of the head is when it's the best for lottery wins. So if you're wanting to win the lottery or money's coming in, it's usually where the position of Leo and Jupiter have to be, because expansion usually means either money growth or satisfaction to some degree. So, Leo, hopefully this helps you out to some degree. And yes, it's still I think it's still in Leo positions. But it's Virgo, so it's very, very interesting. I don't think Leo in the pagan culture leaves until, like, around, like, the crescent moon, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. But, yeah, it's supposed to be, like, retrograde of Venus in order for that to happen. Astrology is interesting. But yeah, it could be the end of Leo during the crescent moon, and then it goes to Virgo officially, and then it lapses to allow Virgo. Now, in the way that they have it lined up with the zodiacs, would have happened August, I think 20th is when it was in Virgo, 20th or 21st, and then it lapsed over into September. So, yeah, I'm trying to memorize the chart in my head. I don't have it in front of me. But yeah, that's usually the lapse, but this year it was like a little bit after the fact because Jupiter was in retrograde for too long. So anyway, hopefully this helps you out. I don't think anything's going to be for sure for the time being, because Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto are in retrograde. So that's uncertainty at its highest form. And it's just a bad time. Those are major planets that help with certain aspects of human life, so it's a bit of a problem when they're in retrograde. So, Anyway, I will see you in the next reading. Hopefully this helped you out in some way, shape, or form. And maybe you watch some astrology night explanations. I usually watch them myself because I want to make sure I'm correct, because sometimes, with math and where the planets are, sometimes the planets move a little bit ahead of schedule or they fall behind. So you kind of have to make sure you have more than one source for a lot of those. Um, anyway, I will see you later, Leo, alright? Bye now.